Hello everybody, this is Tipcast, our podcast for the biggest community of punters in Czechia and Slovakia, and this is a very special episode. This is our last episode of the year 2023, and it's an episode with a special guest, the first ever winner of the Tipsport Gamechanger, Bojan Veličković. Welcome in the studio, Bojan.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys inviting me to do this and close your successful year.
Well, we are recording this the next morning after your fight and after your win. How did you sleep? How was your night?
Well, I didn't sleep very much. It's really hard to sleep after such a crazy night. So many emotions, as you said. Getting prepared mentally for a fight like that, it takes my mind to go in a very high speed, and once the fight is over, it takes a little bit of time to gear back to the normal speed where normal people function. Yeah. And so I maybe slept 1 or 2 hours, but I'm okay. I feel really good. I think I'm still riding on that wave of adrenaline, as they would say.
We'll definitely get to the fight, get to the evening, and get to the whole season of the first ever Tipsport Gamechanger. But this is a podcast for people who like to bet. And if you had to bet on before the fight, of course, logically you would bet on yourself, but yeah. What would it be like? Would you believe in first round, third round as well, KO, submission? What if you had to bet on your before the fight, because you were outsider? You were by the odds. You were
by the odds, yeah.
By 79% of people bet on your opponent. So,
yeah.
Is this kind of like motivation engine for you? And now let's get to the bet. Like, what would it be? What would you believe yourself into? Like the type of the victory.
I mean, I don't know. Last night, as you said, reading comments after the fight on Oktagon, I saw a couple of people wrote in a comment, "Oh, I love this guy so much. For me, he made me so much money." So I think there was a higher odds on me, 2 point something. So I don't know. It's probably who I like risk, obviously, because of what I do. I'm not the safest. I'm not choosing the safest route to do my things. So, as I would see, I would try to. I mean, the way how my coach says, how you do anything is how you do everything. I prepare for the things that I do very well. So if I'm into betting, I would probably explore a little bit of background. And so what everybody knew, or at least people who know about MMA and me and my opponent, they know that he performs the best in the first round, and then he kind of goes down. And for me, I can keep the same pace throughout the fight. Well, it depends who I'm fighting. But if I was fighting on Michailidise, I would fight that he's going to win in the first round with a knockout. Because that's best bet for him. And that's how he was planning to do it. Because obviously, he came out guns blazing and attacked me right away. And I managed to survive. And then I took over the fight in the second round and finished him in the third. But yeah, I think people who love betting, I don't know, I don't bet because I'm a professional athlete, and I think that's even against the rules. But so I'm not into that. But I think people who are into that and they explore at least the field or the sport they're betting on. I know they're for basketball, this guy just got a kid, so he's gonna be motivated to perform better. You should bet on his team. So yeah, I don't know, but I think that's just one of the things that people would should consider the background story, not just the odds, not just seeing oh, this guy is safe bet, let's bet on him. Well, find out what are the chances on the other side too.
Okay, let's get to the fight because, Andrease Michailidise, as you said, you kind of I think you a little bit uncovered your preparation because you knew what he was about to do. And the start was really fierce. There were kicks everywhere. He was really aggressive, really into it. was that kind of like your strategy to survive that first round, the first moments of his like really aggressive moves?
Well, you never really know, but you can kind of like assume. And I just knew that he is a little bit better, but there was one specific point in the movie that they played in arena before the fight, where I said, like, I think this is gonna be a really hard fight, but I wouldn't count on like winning easy in a finals of such a big tournament. And he said like, oh, this is a 5-round fight, but I don't think he's gonna go to 5 rounds, which indicated that he didn't really feel comfortable about going 5 rounds, and he wanted to like finish it early. And so my coaches told me in the locker room like, hey, be ready for fire. I think this guy is gonna try to knock you out or submit you in the first round. So like, okay, I'm just gonna be like very careful, and it turned out that that was the case. Yeah. I mean, there was one point where I didn't know if I'm knocked out. I was just like facing the floor, and he was throwing punches at me, and I was just like trying to cover, trying to survive. And once I survived, I knew that I probably like felt the best out of him, and I knew that there's no way that he's gonna like do that again. And so that gave me a little bit of confidence. And then in between the round, when I felt that I can breathe, that I'm like I feel good and strong, I knew I felt even more confident. And going into the second round, I knew it's just a matter of time when I'm gonna break him.
Yeah, just getting back to the first round, when you guys were on the ground, it just looked like he got you.
Yeah.
For a few moments, like, was that the breaking point for you, that you were able to escape from that situation?
Well, at that point, it's crazy now when I look back. It seems like a slow motion, but it definitely wasn't. Like, he was throwing punches at me, and I'm just seeing like my blood is like sprinkling the floor, and my face is in a cage, and I don't know if I should just like go to sleep, and like, is it just like the movie gonna end, or is the referee gonna separate us, or like I don't know what's gonna happen. And all of a sudden I see that punches are slowing down, and I'm like, okay, I can work a little bit, let's move a little bit more. And then like, all of a sudden I'm back on my feet. I'm like, okay, like I guess we keep going. So I don't know, it's crazy, but how mind works in those times. I was just kind of on an autopilot, waiting for storm to pass, and then once it did, I was like, okay, now I know what to do.
Okay,
so.
Because like you had your moment of survival, and then you were able to continue. And just the next question I would like to ask is, how much do you read the opponent's body language, let's say? Because like at the end, towards the end of the second round, you were at the fence on the corner of the octagon, and he really looked exhausted. He was taking deep breaths. And how much of that situation are you able to aware? Like he's really, like his physique is really going down. His strength is going down. I have to make some move. I have to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I definitely pay a lot of attention on that. But then also, I don't want to take too much. I don't want to take too much pride in it, because like, oh, he's done, like, oh, I can just go and do it. I still have to be careful. I still have to approach it, because some people, you know how they say, when you put cat in a corner, that's when it's most dangerous, or animal. Yeah. When you push them against the wall, that's when they. So I knew that he's hurt, but I still had to like be methodical and find a smart way to utilize, to like be aggressive, but not reckless, like not overly aggressive, so I can expose myself for a knockout or a mistake where he can capitalize even when he's tired. So yeah, I definitely knew that I had to like keep pressuring, but still like open 4 eyes and just like see what he's gonna do and create opportunity for me to attack and capitalize.
Which came in the third round. Like,
yeah.
Was that like Because like going 5 rounds, it's extremely hard. And in that situation, could you imagine like going next 2 rounds, or did you want to use the situation just to finish it as soon as possible?
I mean, if you win, I think I'm 100% confident that I could have gone 5 rounds, because the way that I went through my preparation and my coaches, my teammates. One of my teammates and my roommates is Corey Sanhagen. He fought for a title fight in UFC, and I think he fought last 5 or 6 fights, 5 rounds. And I asked him how he prepares. Also, Kamaru Usman, who's a UFC champion for a long time, he told me the way he prepares for a 7-round fight, for a 5-round fight, and I follow their regime. And I felt I can go and fight forever. As you said, when he was, when I hit him accidentally to the groin, and he decided to take a break, even though I know, like when we hit each other down, like I know how hard I hit him, and I know I didn't hit him hard, but he lay down and he like put his legs up, and I was like, oh, I know that he needs a break. Like
okay.
I did.
So it's like a tactical move, more of it.
Yeah, he was definitely taking his more time that he needed to catch a breath, to take a little rest. But during that time, I was bouncing around. I was trying to stay warm and sharp. And when he decided to continue, I was back at him. And I think it was just a matter of time when he's gonna give up. So.
In the age of 35 years old, you've been around for a few years. Experience is really a valuable asset in this situation. Can you describe just how being in this situation so many times helps you, like in the tough situation? Yeah,
I mean, absolutely. I have. I think this was my 39th or 40th fight, and I fight since 2010. In MMA, and since 2007 in Muay Thai and kickboxing. So I have quite a few years on my journey, and I have 25 wins, but I also have 12 losses, and I learned a lot from those losses, and I think there was times when I was breaking myself, and where I learned how to find that edge, that breaking point in training, so it doesn't happen when I'm fighting. I think it's very important to like push yourself through the hell and through the worst times during training, so when you come to the fight, you actually can enjoy and have that peace of mind that you went through hell, and that you can like shine into under the bright lights.
Can you maybe mention like really tough moment during the preparation to this fight? Like,
man, do you want me to take out the list?
Well, no,
I'm not. But I'll just say this: that during this year, for first fight, for first round of Tipsport Gamechanger tournament, I had a broken foot. I had a broken bone in my foot, and I had to train like that 6 weeks. And left kick is my best weapon. Everybody knows that, and I couldn't use it like 6 weeks. And then first kick that I threw after 6 weeks was in a cage during the fight.
Okay.
So I had to like conserve my best weapon because I couldn't use it in training. But I was like, I want to let it heal so I can use it in the fight. And during those trainings, I was getting beat up because I couldn't use my leg. But I knew, okay, if I learn how to fight without using the leg and get better, then when I go to the fight and when I can actually use my leg, then I'm going to be a lot better. And then for a second fight with Christian Jungwirth, second round of Tipsport Gamechanger tournament, I broke my rib. I broke one rib and injured another one next to it. And I couldn't do any sparring for 6 weeks. I was just running and punching the bag because I couldn't wrestle or I couldn't do or get punched. So I learned how to like work around the obstacles that I have on the way and still manage to go to the fight and perform well. So yeah, I think it takes as much as mental preparation as a physical preparation. It's not just like have a strong muscle and.
Well, I mean, it's fighting through pain, getting ready through pain, and now it's a hell of a journey to accomplish, like winning the tournament. Wouldn't you say? Like, so after winning yesterday, like, would you say it was your win number 25?
Yeah.
A nice round number.
Yeah. My favorite number.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so, would you say was it one of the sweetest moments of your career? Because like you had to win too many rounds.
No, well, not just that, but like as I just to sum it up, like I went through this year 4 fights in 1 year, just like from one fight, couple days off, another training camp, injury, and work through injury, another fight, week off, and then another. So it's like it's mentally and physically exhausting. I went through a lot of pain, and then to top it off with a win like last night, to go through hell in the fight and overcome it and end up with a finish against, like with a choke against the guy who's a black belt in Gracie Baja, means a lot to me. Yeah, it's definitely a crown of my career so far. Definitely the biggest money I made in my career. And yeah, I'm gonna remember the moment yesterday from O2 Arena probably for the rest of my life.
You know, because like when you talk about that, and I can just like I couldn't imagine the effort and how tough the road or the journey had to be, but it really isn't just about the fights. I mean, we as a journalist or the spectators, the fans, they see that they're looking forward to the fight.
Yeah.
But it can be a few seconds, it can be 25 minutes, who knows?
Yeah.
But you have to prepare yourself for weeks, months, even years, because like, as you said, all the experience you gain throughout the journey somehow, contributes to the whole result.
Yeah.
And so would you really say that, and now that you're 35, like you've been through a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like, it never comes easy. And so you really can cherish the moments that when you reach them, when you get the victory, or not even the victory, but for yourself, like it's a really moment that you can call special.
Yeah, I mean definitely, and it has so much to do with like I'm a first. There was this MMA journalist from Serbia, from my country, and he said like, "Oh, you're first Serbian MMA fighter in UFC. You're first Serbian fighter in PFL. Now you're the first Serbian fighter in Gamechanger tournament, Tipsport Gamechanger tournament, and the winner." And that trophy that we could that I barely could have picked up yesterday. It's so heavy, but so amazing. They're like, your name is gonna be here as a first champion of the tournament. Like it's gonna be there forever. So that's like really special. And the fact that I was competing in all these big organizations like UFC and PFL, but then I lost. I went on like 4 or 5 fights losing streak, and people were like talking that I was I think 31 or 32. He lost it. He's never gonna come back. He sucks. I had to literally like build myself from the ashes. I had to change some things in my preparation because I was training 10 years and I thought that I know everything the best. And then I got back, okay, let's act like I'm a beginner and let's start building myself from the top and or from the bottom. And that helped me like win a couple fights, then come to Oktagon and then win a few fights, and then I lost really bad to big champion from Czech Republic, David Kozma, in the first fight, and then again got opportunity to compete in a Tipsport Gamechanger tournament, and it was a really rough journey, but yesterday, what happened yesterday, it makes it so special. It makes it so worthy and meaningful that it's very profound, and I think I'm gonna enjoy it like for the rest of my life.
You mentioned David Kozma. You met him in the semi-final of Tipsport Gamechanger. Walk us through the situation before the fight, like how important it felt for you to get this fight done, and how did you feel about him? And you know, because it's really popular Czech fighter.
Yeah.
So now you know we're in Czech Republic, so he has a lot of fans. So now how did you feel?
Of course, I mean, I didn't have nothing but respect for him. Even in the first fight, he showed like, I mean, he beat me up very bad in the first fight and finished me in the 4th round. But I felt that he's a really high quality, high caliber fighter. But what I learned in that loss, that even though I accepted the fight on just 11 days notice, so I didn't have any preparation, just 10 days. He, however, had like 2 or 3 months training camp, plus he already defended title 4 or 5 times. So he had like experience, hometown, or like his ground. I still had few moments in that fight. I still had few moments where I could have won. Mm-hmm. So just going into the second fight, knowing like in the first fight, even just with 10 days, I had this much opportunity. Now with a whole training camp, I might have like bigger chances. And that's what gave me motivation and confidence to prepare for that fight well. But I still had some doubts, because in the first fight I got beat up so bad. I was like, I don't know, maybe he's just so good that I don't have a chance. And then winning that fight and overcoming that doubt and that fear that I had, it gave me a lot of confidence going into the finals. I think it just the whole tournament played out well. Like first round was not very famous fighter, but very dangerous. I was also very scared of him because he had like 10 wins, 11 wins, 10 finishes in the first round. Like very explosive, very dangerous. I had to beat him. Then in the second round, Christian Jungwirth, who's very known for his cardio and pressure. And I knew if like I overcome that, I'm gonna have like if I meet Kozma in the semifinal, I'm gonna have good chances because I overcame this guy. And then I overcame Kozma, and I was like, okay, I had like 3 different opponents, but like I learned something from each training camp, and I was like, I feel good about the final. So when I saw that I'm underdog or that my opponent is favorite, I was like, okay, I don't know anything about betting, so but yeah, I managed to flip the odds and come as a winner, so that even makes it more special.
It also kind of like sounds that you're constantly building your confidence by overcoming the rounds one by one. And what I wanted to ask about the preparation for the opponent is like, what percentage is that the opponent's strengths? It's like you focus on, okay, he's a really good kicker, or is there more of the time spent on like your...
I'm focusing more on bettering myself.
Okay.
On making sure that best version of me shows up to the fight night. But last stage of the preparation, because I usually arrive 1 week before the fight to Europe, because it's a big time difference with United States. I usually come a week before, and then I spend a lot of time watching my opponent's fight and seeing where I can implement best part of my game, where I can use this, where I can use that. So then I started like making kind of mental notes and seeing where I can like take advantage of better side of my game versus like holes in his game and things like that.
Okay, so you watch a lot of tape, a lot of video?
Not a ton, but enough just to prepare myself as we talked before we started recording, every time on a fight day, I like to spend a couple hours by myself in a dark, and I'm visualizing and I'm like making film in my head. Just when things started happening in a cage, I'm kind of like, I already went through that scenario in my head, and I know how to either escape or capitalize on something or like take advantage of something, just because like I made so many scenarios in my head that I'm just kind of like living through that again.
Okay, I'm a huge basketball fan and
I am too.
Okay, we can talk about it as well. I love LeBron James. No, you don't. Okay, I mean, hey.
I know nothing but respect, but not my favorite guy.
Okay, I mean, I also love Nikola Jokic, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But what I admire about him and his game is like how clever he is, how smart he is, and he can recall plays years in the past, like I don't know, like game 62 against Toronto regular season. He know what kind of play they ran. Yeah. That's I'm just using as
I mean that's
as a starting
cool
point, because you mentioned that in a few fights you know that there were moments you could win against Kozma. And it's like how much of the fights you recall and like how much of the fights do you remember, and making it like learning point towards towards the next fight. Like, did you like realize every moment or just the important ones? How is it?
Well, now after when I have 40 fights, I do remember every fight, but some specific points, obviously, like from this fight, I took this as a mental note and tried to implement it or try to learn something from it. From this fight, I remember how I switched position from bottom to the top. And so, like, I definitely remember all the fights and I can recall important moments. But it's definitely a little bit different than in basketball, I would say, because they have so many, like, different plays and scrimmages. And so it's harder to think in that way, at least for me, because I never played basketball on that professional level, but I did play basketball, however, in high school, and I really enjoyed the game of basketball. But yeah, I think I can definitely memorize more, and I like that kind of nerd side of it, of the sport. But I also believe you can't always play by the playbook. Did you watch the documentary The Last Dance?
Of course,
with Michael
like
Jordan?
3 times.
Like I watched that every fight week. So
really?
So yesterday.
You use it as an inspiration?
Not just as inspiration. You could say as an inspiration, but just like approach, like that like hunter side of Michael Jordan, that he was like
he was assassin, because he just his mentality, like he was a winner, but he wasn't just, he didn't say no as an answer, but he couldn't imagine like losing. Yeah, that was not the option, right?
Yeah, like, well, I love what he says there, that like to be the best, like you had to keep yourself at such a high level of like everything. You just have to make it a lifestyle. It's not like, oh, I all of a sudden become a champion. Like, you have to put so much work in. And like when I watched it the first time, I tried to, because I'm one of the most experienced guys in my gym, I started to kind of like help other guys get better. What he was doing, like I have to make my teammates better. Like, I can't be the best scorer in the league. Like, I have to make myself not just the best guy. So I have to make these guys better, so they can beat me up more during the training camp, so I can be better, so I can look better during the fights. And so like my teammate yesterday who fought Mallory Martin, her first fight in Oktagon, she lost because she was not good prepared. She was like doing her own thing, and I was like, hey, how do you run? And she's like, oh, I don't really run. I was like, what? I was like, tomorrow, 7 a.m., you're going with me to the mountains. What? No way. Yes, bitch, you're going. And so it's like no negotiation. And then I made her cry so many times, and I
God.
think like she hated me. But yesterday, after she won the fight, she cried in a cage, and she said, like, I'm so grateful for Bojan for like what he did to me. Like, he made me so much. Like, he made me a better athlete. He made me a better person. He made me a better human being. And I have goosebumps now. But it's true. I think like he gave me an example of how I can make people around me better, and that's gonna make me better as well. But not just that, but also like I enjoy seeing that yesterday because she fought before me. She was the second fight of the night. Like made me almost like cry in a room, and like that filled my cup a little bit, and I think maybe even like inspired me to perform better in my fight. So yeah, I think there's a lot to learn from. But let me ask you this: as a LeBron fan, do you still think that LeBron is like better overall than Michael Jordan?
I don't like this conversation.
Okay, yeah, let's not do it then.
I don't. No. Not that I don't want to answer. Is that I'm so glad we touched basketball in this interview.
Yeah.
It's just we should be thankful that we can lead this conversation because, like, I grew up in the '90s because I watched the highlights of the Bulls of the dynasty of the championships. It's like, but you just saw some clips, you know.
Yeah.
Now you're like seeing all the games. You have the social media, and so you can scrutinize it more, and you can be like nitpicking, like, okay, now in the year 32 or the age 32, LeBron has this.
Okay,
Michael
well,
has this,
I'll just give you my argument.
But Michael never lost a final.
Yeah, well,
Series.
But not just that, but I think the way that he approaches the game and then the way he plays the game. Like LeBron, he's big, he's strong, he just like muscles through and he just like dunks.
He's more physical.
Michael Jordan, he was like
Crafty.
He was so crafty. He was like a magician. Like it's so inspiring to like. I don't play basketball, like I fight, but I watch him, what he was doing, and I go motivated to like MMA session, you know, and I try to be Michael Jordan version of that in, you know, like...
You know, I really like when like professional athletes inspire throughout the sports, like because even like LeBron James was, you know, he took inspiration of the leadership from like Tom Brady, you know, the greatest quarterback from the NFL and stuff like that. So it's just like, and then when you like watch sports and you watch the approach, it's like it's really about the mindset because like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, they weren't like the most popular teammates, but they made everybody better. They were nicest. But you can be, right? If you want to achieve something,
you can't. Absolutely.
It's still a fight.
You kind of have to be a tyrant.
Yeah, you kind of have to. But, you know, but now it gets to the... I wanted to ask about the atmosphere in the arena because 18,000 people, it's something extraordinary. And I just want to know, you as a protagonist of the evening, do you have tunnel vision? Do you thrive for the audience? Do you get like healthy nervousness before that? How is that?
I definitely get nervous, but I think because I'm so experienced, I get a glimpse of everything. It's definitely like, even though I know I have to be focused, I still want to experience. I still want to feel it. Like I don't want to go back to the locker room and like, what happened? You know, like I want to feel, and especially. I was not just sweet talking after the fight, but I really enjoyed Czech fans. Like you guys here have very passionate crowd, and I mean like you can't see it now, but like my whole hair on my whole body, you just like motivates me so much, and that's why I talk with Andre Novotny, the promoter. And the commentator and announcer in Oktagon.
He was here as well as a guest.
yeah, but I'm sure he was. He's such a great guy, and like the way that he runs it just inspires me. And I told him when he had I had this thing with my nickname where my nickname was Prometheus. Because one of my coaches told me that I look like a guy from movie Prometheus. And then when I moved from that gym to Denver, they changed my nickname to Serbian Steel because I never liked it. They're like, dude, you're so tough, you're so strong, and you're Serbian, like Serbian Steel. Like Americans will like that because in America they like things like that, and they're like, dude, like everybody's gonna like. And I like, okay, like they're like, you need to make a brand out of yourself and all this bullshit. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go with it. And then when I came back to Oktagon, and I really like loved being myself, I was like, hey, can you announce me as a Prometheus? He's like, why Prometheus? I was like, well, like not just the movies, like that I like. I don't think I look like a guy, but the mythological story about Prometheus, that Prometheus gave fire. He stole the fire from gods and gave it to people. And as a kid, I was obsessed with fire. Like I was lighting up things in my house on fire.
Oh, really?
My parents would beat me up. I was just like, I loved seeing fire.
So you were a kid with the matches everywhere?
Yes, I was like, pyroman. I don't know how do you say it.
That's something.
They called me pyroman when I was a kid.
And people understand that.
Yeah, and then when I love history, so I read the Greek mythology, and it says that when he stole the fire from gods and gave it to people, he was punished by Zeus, and then he was like in a war against gods, but then he was a master of trickery. So like he was really like crafty. And they awarded him, they gave him a rank in a god's army, like to join them. So for me, like going through my fighting career and kind of reinventing myself, lighting up the fire, I told them, I was like, if you announce me as a Prometheus, I promise I'm gonna bring fire and excitement to Czech fans.
Okay.
And now seeing Czech fans like light up and give me much more support to me than to Michailidise. When I was at the weigh-ins, they screamed so loud, and Andreas Michailidise was like, wow, Bojan, like you have such a big support here in Prague. And I was like, yeah, maybe, I don't know if fans feel my love for them and then they give it to me back. I think everything is two ways. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in energy and that like we give each other energy, and maybe people feel that I feel so grateful that I had the opportunity to come and be part of that arena, be part of the biggest event in the year, and as you said, 18,000 people. It's definitely a highlight of my career and my life. So yeah, the fact that I was there and that I had such a big support, I tried. I had to stay focused on the fight, but I still gave myself a little bit of time to look at the audience, to feel their energy, and that inspired me to go inside and perform at the best abilities. And probably in those hard moments when I had to survive those heavy punches, maybe that gave me energy to go through that and then come as a winner.
Also, it comes to my mind, like if you look to the arena, you see the packed crowd. You take the mental picture. Like, is that something like the moment you really struggle and fight for? Because like this is something like, this is a extraordinary thing that doesn't come.
It is
maybe for some fighters in a lifetime, but you know, once or twice maybe.
Yeah. Now, when you already touch basketball, I live in Denver where Nikola Jokic is playing, and I know him and his whole family because he's Serbian as well. And I watched him yesterday, actually during the day. He had a podcast with his teammate, Michael Porter Jr., and he said, he was talking about that, saying that when he feels a crowd, he feels pressure that he has to like satisfy the crowd, but then in the same time is like, okay, but I have to do this for myself because I love the game. So the same thing for me. I see like, and I take a mental picture. I was like, this is so cool, and I'm like thinking like, oh my god, like I have to impress all these people, like, and then it starts, and then
that's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure,
if you let it come to
and then in my head I'm like, okay, no, but like I'm not here for them. Yeah. Like I am here for them, but I also want to win this fight, and to win this fight, I have to go back to focus.
So you are able to zoom in back to your focus.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I'm kind of like, if you say like you're driving like a fast car, I'm able to like slow down and just like look what's around me, you know, like look the lakes and trees, and I like, okay, back to driving.
Back to driving.
Yeah.
All right. When you mentioned Nikola Jokic, okay, one more like really quick sidestep to the basketball. Yeah. He recently said that you know, when he won the title, do you remember what he said after the game, the first interview? The job is done, now we can go home.
Yeah.
Like he really is. He's special. He's not into social media in this age, which is in this age is just like really crazy. Well, I mean, it's healthy, it's great, but not a lot of athletes. Yeah, not a lot of athletes do that. And he said, I think maybe it was in this podcast, like when he finishes with basketball career, he would like to be forgotten because like the attention he gets, it kind of annoys him, which is.
He said he would like to be remembered as like a good dad, as like a good person, not as a like basketball player.
But, you know,
he said like
two-time MVP and a champion. So like, what can you do? What can you do?
Well, you can't do much. Like he can't erase that. But like I understand, like from a standpoint that he just became dad. He wants to be there to like support his girl. You know, maybe she can become athlete one day. Like she wants to be part of her journey. Like he had his older brothers and his parents be on his journey. They have really good family. We go to the same church because there's a Serbian Orthodox church in Denver. When his parents come to visit him to Colorado, I see them in the church. Very good people. I think that's why he's very humble. He just like had a good family around him. They made him humble. They made him work hard. His brothers were, especially his middle brother, he was also very talented and he played basketball in college, but he was not like very motivated to get to NBA, so he stopped. He actually played a little bit of, not played, he also did some Muay Thai and MMA, okay. His brother. Yeah, just he's a very humble guy. He's definitely one of the, as you said, like somebody who inspires me and gives me some perspective of how I want to be if like one day, you know, popularity start getting into my head and I'm start thinking like, oh, I'm some, you know, like cool guy. It's like you don't have anything from that. Like stay humble, be a good person, focus on your friends, your family, your closest people, because in the end of the day, these are people who are part of your everyday. Like fans, you try to like make fans happy. You see them once or twice in your life, and if you're so much focused on them, your family is gonna suffer, and then you're gonna live like very unhappy life.
Well, what is really unique about his approach is like the types of players we mentioned before, like Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Like I think that basketball means like everything for them. This is their life. For Jokic, it's like it's a job. It's not like, and he is one of the best, maybe the best basketball player now, like in his unique style. I mean, that just impresses me, like how.
I mean,
he's just like.
Listen, he says that, but he is there because he loves it. Like he said when he was a kid, he would go to basketball court and play for like 6 to 8 hours, just like pick up games. Now I think. Once something becomes your job, especially in a level of NBA where you have to play 82 games plus the playoffs, and it becomes so much pressure of media and social media, when he goes back to Serbia, he's only with his horses and with his family. Like, so he needs like that balance, and I can totally understand that. And he's like, oh, I do it only because it's work. No, it's not. Like, you say that, and like you have all these things on the other side because you have to keep balance. I think he's so good, and he came back this year and he started playing even better because he took completely 3 months off. He said he didn't even touch a basketball when he was in Serbia. He was just like doing his horses, spending time with his family. I think same thing. Like this year, I've been so slammed with fighting. I definitely need a break. Not completely from. Like I'm still gonna train, but I have wedding in a couple months planning, And I'm also a director for kids program for jiu-jitsu and kickboxing in academy where I train. So I wanna spend some time, help new generation get a little bit better, feel better, feel good about that. I wanna get married. I wanna start working on my own family because I'm 35. I'm not a kid anymore. So I think it's good time to like take a little focus off my profession now that I know that I accomplished something big, and yeah, see where the life takes me.
But yesterday wasn't your last fight. You're not thinking about like.
No, I still have one more fight with Oktagon, and then maybe continue with Oktagon, maybe not. Like I just know, like I'm not even thinking about it right now. I just know that I need a little bit of time off from fighting, and then we'll see where the road takes me.
Okay. When you said like when we talk about Jokic and like him balancing his like work or basketball life with the horses. I read about you that you do like crossbow hunting in Colorado. Is that correct?
Traditional bow.
Traditional
hunting.
bow. Oh, yeah, traditional bow.
Yeah,
okay.
Crossbow is too.
Yeah.
Well, that's almost like a rifle.
Okay. Okay. So
yeah.
Traditional. Okay, but let's just
the recurve bow.
How did you like even get into that? Yeah.
I've been besides fire. I've been my whole life like I was when as a kid we play like cowboys and Indians. I was always Indian. And I was always like to make bows. I like to make like the slingshot.
Do you know the Vinetsu story?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so.
And then I like history too. So I know a lot about American like native tribes. And when I moved to Colorado and when I saw the mountains, like I knew I want to live there. I was like, man, I want to be like. And then I heard that they have like hunting, hiking, running, lakes with a lot of like canoeing, and I love outdoor life, camping. So I started camping, and then a couple of friends told me like, oh, like do you shoot a bow? I was like, wait, I would love to get into that. I was like, oh, you can actually hunt with a bow here. I was like, what? Because I don't like firearms. And a couple of friends were like, oh, you can come like deer hunting with us. And I was like, I don't like shooting rifles. But when I heard that I could go hunt with a bow, that was like just light in my. Besides, when we're talking about balance, what I like the most about it, and what kind of like puts me in same relationship with Jokic, is that I love when I go hunting. It's so far from the city, like 3 or 4 or 5 hours. There's no phone service. It's in the mountains. I get to go there. There's no social media. Nobody's calling me. It's only nature. And it's crazy what starts happening when you spend some time in nature. Like after 5 days.
You spend days there?
Yeah,
it's not just like 1 day trip?
Well, like, yeah, I went like few times. I would go and spend 1 week, 7 days, just there. I bring enough food, or like the closest store is like 45 minutes away, like some like a little gas station that I can buy bread and like snacks. So I go and I spend days there, and for like 4th or 5th day, like I hear birds like making some noise, and I'm like, that's like. I haven't heard that loud and that intense noise like since I'm here. Like, that must be something like different happening. And I started following the noise. And then I get closer and it's even more intense. And then I look up the hill and I see 5 birds on one tree looking down and just like, wah, wah, like making, and I'm like, something's happening there. So I didn't go straight there, but I went a little bit far. But when I came in the same height of the mountain, I saw 2 bears eating something on the ground. And when they saw me, they like came up, and I had only my bow in my hands. And a couple of experienced hunters told me like when that happens, like don't try to run, like either stand,
freeze,
try to be tall, or walk towards them. And I just like put my arrow and I started walking slowly towards them, and they just like turned and they ran away. And so, like that experience of becoming one with the nature, like listening noises, like following. Then especially what's very fascinating about bow hunting is when you shoot animal with a bow, it's not the same. We shoot it with a rifle and they just fall right there. When you shoot it with bow, they feel something happened, but they don't know what happened, and so they just like start running. And sometimes they can run even like 5 or 6 kilometers, and you can't fight them. So you have to like look the blood. Yeah, you have to like find blood, or if they broke a branch when they were running. It's so tricky, and and then it's very hard. Like I still haven't killed anything, because to kill animal with a recurve bow, with a traditional bow, you have to come to like 20-30 meters, and animals are so smart. Like we people think, when we see animals like here, domestic animals in the wild, they're so freaking smart. They have a good smell. They have like listening. You step on one branch as you're trying to come closer, they just like sprint away, and you're never gonna see them again. So it's just something that I like to, like, especially when I'm overwhelmed with training, with fighting, with job, the work that I have, the social media and everything. I just take a week off in September. Well, so this is the thing, that because of this tournament, and last year I fought in the same time. Last 2 years I couldn't hunt.
Okay.
Because it's only 1 month. It's only end of August till end of September. And so I missed last 2 hunting, and I didn't have that balance, and I feel a little bit off. So I think I'm gonna make sure next year I'm able to go hunting.
Understand.
And spend some time in the nature. That's something that I really need.
Okay, now that at the end, towards the end of our interview, I need to ask you, as the first ever champion of the Tipsport Gamechanger, what do you think about the tournament, about the system, about the scheme, how good of an idea for the fighters this is?
I think it's a genius idea.
Okay.
It's not just because I'm a winner, and I'm like,
won it, but
now I won it, and I'm like, oh, this is the best thing ever. But truly, I can tell you a couple of facts that like I never had this many followers and messages from Serbia, because since Tipsport Gamechanger started happening, one of the biggest sport TV station in Serbia made a contract with Oktagon, and they started playing just Tipsport Gamechanger tournaments on their television. Of course, because of me, but also because the interest that the tournament brings. Then, in the United States, all my teammates in Colorado, and then before, well, I also competed in MMA, in UFC, and like I have a lot of friends around the United States. I've been receiving so much messages from East Coast, from West Coast. Hey man, like I can't believe you're part of that big tournament that's happening in Europe. You're killing it. Like we're so proud of you. Like we're cheering for you. We're supporting you. I had more support and more attention than when I was in PFL and maybe even UFC. Like I think it definitely turned tables around and made Tipsport and Oktagon so popular in Europe. And as they were talking yesterday, the promoters after the fights at the post-fight conference, that this is kind of becoming like European Champions League in MMA, and people started talking, and you know, like when people start talking, things started like becoming alive. And I think Tipsport and Oktagon did a fantastic project. Tipsport Gamechanger is such a brilliant and smart project. So many good fighters arose from being not mediocre, but like they came and they got a big platform, and they got to shine under like bright lights, and the whole world and the whole Europe get to see them. And yeah, I think it helps organization grow, and also fighters grow and promote themselves in a better way. I'm sure that also you get better business too with betting, with such a big interest and such a good quality fights. So I think it's good for everyone. And I'm sure that people who bet, they also have a lot of fun following and like through the whole tournament. So I think we're all just having fun.
Oh, I mean, I have to admit, I mean, I don't bet a lot, but I did yesterday throughout the evening, and I guessed right that you will win in the third round. After the first round, after you survived the first round, I just made a little bet.
Okay.
So I mean, that made me a little bit happy.
There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we started our interview with a question: how did you sleep? You said you couldn't sleep a lot. You won 300,000 euros, which is a lot. It's nice prize money. It's a nice like late Christmas gift, I would say, as well. Was there a little thought after what you might do with that? Have you ever?
I mean,
thought of it? Like maybe buy a new bow. I don't know.
No, the bow that I have is great, and the reason why I got into that's not. But the reason I got into traditional hunting is like just a piece of wood. It's an expensive piece of wood because it's like literally like art made with hands by a professional. But that's it. What you see is what you get. But if you buy a crossbow or if you buy a compound bow, then you can buy different sights. You can like the bow is like 1,000 euros, but you can spend 2,000 by putting things on it, like gadgets. For a traditional bow, you maybe pay 800 or 1,000, but you don't have to, and it can last you a lifetime. So that's I'm not getting a new bow. But I have few ideas, and 300,000 sounds like a great sum. But I'll just say that like I'm probably gonna have only half of that, because by the time in US you have to pay 30% taxes, you have to pay coaches, you have to pay manager. So with 150,000 that I get, I'm getting married. I'm looking forward to start a family. I don't think it's a life changer type of money. Like we talked about basketball. Like we know what athletes make, and they still get broke. So nothing guarantees you that you're gonna be like well off for the rest of life. But I think if you're smart and disciplined with your spending, as much as I am with my preparation and my training, I think I can maybe start a small business or maybe even my own gym. I'm also like, as I said all this story, I like nature, and I wouldn't mind having like a little house or a little land somewhere where I can build a house one day, because this amount of money is not enough money to build a house in the United States. So if I can maybe buy like a little piece of land. I also like riding horses, and I grew up on my grandparents' farm, and we had like chickens and goats, and I love. It's very sad that nowadays people don't have connection with what they eat and what they put inside themselves. Like as a kid, I always knew like, oh, we're eating from my grandma's garden, we're eating meat from our free. Like I knew what I'm eating, but now people like buy steak and they think that it's made in a factory, because like they're like steak. When I say that I hunt, they're like, oh, how can you kill an animal? I was like, you eat steak every day.
You just had a pork chop.
Like so it's crazy, you know, like people lose a perspective and lose a touch with nature, and that's, I think, like for me, if I'm starting a family, I would love my kids one day to have like a mind like I have today, and to have like a touch with what they're doing, whereas some kids today, they completely lost touch with nature. They only like look at their phones, and like it's such an unhealthy lifestyle. So I would like to use this money to like start a small business or something that can kind of like direct my future and my family's future in some like healthy direction. I don't think I have ambition to have like a billionaire, to have Ferraris and like things like that. I want to have like a nice, modest life, but you know, but healthy and like good standings. I don't want to be broke or anything like that, but I like everything in a healthy amount.
Well, I mean, it's great what you say. There's definitely some wisdom and experience behind those words, and with your platform, with your followers, and with I think you can make some nice impact in the things that you say.
I would like to. Like that's at least my hope.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me awake. That's what I'm thinking of. I had, well, as you said, like experience. Like I had a few times in my career before when I was in PFL. I fought in a playoffs in PFL, and I made $115,000. So it's not like I didn't make money before. Like I made, but I spent them easy because I didn't have a girlfriend or fiance. I was just traveling, meeting with like pretty girls and like fashion models and things like that, because I was just like, I thought that I'm something I wasn't, and I didn't have a home. I didn't have like idea to have family and to settle down, and like losses like that, and then the fact that I lost my dad last year also made me I think more mature, because like now I know that I don't have somebody above me and I can like screw around. Like now I'm the boss, kind of like I want to start my family and start being somebody's dad, and hopefully one day grandfather, and so yeah, those are things that kind of motivate me, and that's where I'm in directions that I'm thinking about.
Sometimes you have to realize and not take things for granted, because they're not going to last, as you mentioned. So, Bojan, I thank you very much for coming to our Tipcast, and one more time, congratulations to winning the first ever Tipsport Gamechanger.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope your fans and your followers like it and continue betting. And I hope the tournament that I did was fun for them too, and that they had a good time following.
Well, I mean, it was a fun interview. We start by taking the glimpse of the last night of the championship fight, and we touched basketball. We touched some like human deep stuff. Some hunting, and I think it was. I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this special episode of Tipcast with Bojan Veličković, the Tipsport Gamechanger winner, champion, and thank you for watching Tipcast in the year 2023. And we're looking forward to seeing you next year. Bye. Take care.